Hello and welcome back to another character creation video. My name is Lumin and today we're having a look at Last Epoch. Last Epoch combines time travel, exciting dungeon crawling, engrossing character customization, and endless replayability to create an action RPG for veterans and newcomers alike. Travel through the world of Eterra's past and face dark empires, wrathful gods, and untouched wilds to find a way to save time itself from the void. It's an action RPG. Much like Diablo, and I think much like the earlier Diablo games, they have a very old school system here where what you see is what you get. You pick one of these classes and that's that. There is no choice between male or female, and there isn't any real customization involved with the cosmetic look of your character. You do get to customize your character quite completely once you're in the game, but that's more with skills, with talents, with the stuff that you equip in, and all the rest. That said, we're going to jump in regardless. We're going to have a look at the classes and then also have a quick peek at the masteries available on each of them. If you'd like to do a deep dive, discover more about the game for yourself, you can find some links below. And as always, the timestamps are in the description of this video. So, let's have a look. First up, we have the Sentinel. Strong in honor and fearsome in combat, the Sentinel stands stalwart against what is unjust even at the end of the world. As I mentioned, you don't get to switch between male or female or anything like that. This is what you start with, and the way this works is you start on the base class, which is the Sentinel, and then later on, as you play through the game, you will get the option to activate a mastery. You'll be able to switch over to a Void Knight, a Forge Guard, or a Paladin. Now, some of the abilities that you can see here: Warpath, Shield Bash, Javelin, Rebuke, Multi-Strike, and Lunge. It's sort of like a combination between your fighter and your paladin style class, but the masteries, as you will no doubt see here, mix things up. This is the Void Knight, a sentinel who has taken part of the void inside himself and uses it to devastate his foes. His swings leave trails of void that eagerly consume the essence of his enemies. Darkness eating them away from the inside out. Erasing Strike, Volatile Reversal, Abyssal Echoes, Devouring Orb, and Anomaly. Interesting. Interesting sort of shift from the Sentinel warrior-y tanky type thing. Forge Guard is the next one. This is skill, strength, and steel, and the knowledge in his that his training will prevail. His strikes are surer than hope, and his armor is stronger than despair. A bulwark of steel whose mastery of weapons, armor, and molten metal dominates the battlefield. So that's sort of like going for the, let's just say, more gear-centric approach, where the gear makes the character. In other words, you focus on weapons, weapon master, weapon skills, stuff like that. Forge Strike, Shield Throw, Manifest Armor, yeah, Ring of Shields, Smelter's Wrath. So like less magic, more martial prowess. I kind of like that. Then finally we have Paladin. I mean, this one sort of explains itself, right? We know based on the name what we're getting into here. Where a blow would strike him down, the light within rises. When his allies would cower, this light gives him the ability to lead. A righteous warrior focused on empowering and healing his allies, who can take down swaths of enemies with holy fire. Holy Aura, Healing Hand, Sigils of Hope, Judgment, and Smite. Those are all abilities that sound like Paladin. Indeed. Indeed. So that's it for the Sentinel. Again, you get to pick these masteries later on as you play through the game. Next up we have the Rogue. Unrivaled in bow and blade, the Rogue strikes out from the shadows to find a higher purpose for her deadly talents. Okay. Flurry, Shurikens, Shift, Umbral Blades, Smoke Bomb, and Ballista. Then, our subclasses. We have the Blade Dancer, the Marksman, and the Falconer. You can see here that the Falconer is not actually active yet, but we can read what it's about regardless. First up, however, we have the Blade Dancer. This is an artisan of shadow. She dashes out of reach of her enemies. Each movement, another deadly cut. Her blade finds its target, and the next, again and again, they fall. She dodges their strikes and makes them pay dearly for it. She dances and kills. Dancing Strikes, Shadow Cascade, Synchronized Strike, and Lethal Mirage. That sounds pretty cool. Most likely more a focus on the blades and the blade dancing, where the marksman here will have a focus on the bow. One arrow pierces through a heart and shatters a skull behind it. The next arrow jolts from her bow, sparks crackling in its path. The arrow breaks one body, then another and another, a dozen dead. Still more come. She has enough arrows for them all. That's actually a pretty cool little blurb that they put there. Detonating arrow, arrow storm, dark quiver, and hail of arrows. Now, the falconer, as I mentioned, you can't actually select it here yet, but the description is up on their website. It is a rogue mastery that, as far as I understand, has a pet. Never fight alone, never fight fair. A master tactician who employs deceptive traps and the aid of a fearsome bird of prey. She survives due to her wits, ingenuity, and most of all due to her falcon's loyalty. Sounds pretty cool. I like that they mix it up. So you got the base class, blade, bow, pet. It's cool. Yeah, pretty cool. Next up, we have the mage class. It's called Mage. An elder, crest in his prime, the mage wields the power of the arcane to make up for his past wrongs and give the world a new future. Yeah, looks a bit like Tywin Lannister, actually. Lightning Blast. Elemental Nova. Flame Ward. Glacier. Disintegrate. And Volcanic Orb. Our Masteries are Sorcerer, Spellblade, and Rune Master. I would have liked it if they had given us a little preview of each of them as we click through here, but yeah, it's fine. Like, as in, I would have liked it if it changed a bit and it showed some of the abilities. So the Sorcerer, a master of the arcane who wields unprecedented power to devastate his foes from a distance. Unearthly lightning erupts from his fingertips, flaming meteors rain from the heavens by his will, the very fabric of reality reshapes itself in his presence. Meteor, Static Orb, Ice Barrage, Arcane Ascendance, and Black Hole. Yeah, that sounds like a master of magic, basically. Spellblade. This one actually also sort of explains itself, I think. Mage who has mixed martial prowess with their mastery of spells to face enemies in close range. A sword coated in ice and flame, a shield gleaming with wards. The Spellblade is as brilliant as he is deadly. He has Shatter Strike, Flame Reave, Enchant Weapon, Firebrand, and Surge. Then our final one is the Rune Master. This is also not active just yet. Assuming these will be in for full launch. It's a servant who tamed the power of raw arcane, weaving its chaos with the art of runes. The Rune Master infuses magic into offensive and protective wards that devastate those who trespass them, ensnaring his foes, raising walls and golems at his whim. So this is sort of like a utility-ish type class, but it also has summons, which is kind of cool. I like the idea of it. Next up, we have the Primalist. A warrior from the north who has seen the horrors of war firsthand. The Primalist seeks communion with the power of Etera, the power of nature itself. It sort of looks like a barbarian, but it's also apparently a bit like a druid. You can see here with the masteries, actually. Skills are Maelstrom, Summon Thorn Totem, Swipe, Warcry, Storm Crows, and Serpent Strike. Cool. Then we have the Beast Master. A warrior who takes command with the might of beasts. Leading by example with raw strength and power, he charges forward, the ferocity of his companions infusing his body. The heart of the wild beats within him, fury leading his way. Alright. Summon Raptor, Summon Bear, Summon Sabertooth, Summon Frenzy Totem, and Summon Scorpion. That's a lot of animals. Cool. Very cool. Next up, Shaman. The world remembers winds that rage and tear down forests, avalanches that shatter mountainsides, lightning that cracks the sky open and demands awe, a living storm that uses nature and its fury to destroy his enemies with the aid of sacred totems. There's a storm totem, tornado, earthquake, and avalanche. Yeah, that makes sense. Storm, earth, and fire, heed my call and all that. Then we have the Druid. Conduit for the long-dormant power of Etera, he bends the fury of nature to his will. Even as he takes the form of ferocious creatures, he's an avatar of the Earth's latent power, Etera's bastion against all that would threaten her. So, Weir Bear form, Ensnaring Roots, summon Spriggan form, and Swarm Blade form. That's kind of sick. Yeah. I like it. So far, there's good variation here. And with these ones said and done, this final one actually kind of makes sense. Yeah. We have the Acolyte here. She looks pretty awesome. A rebellious scion who disobeyed her masters and sought out forbidden magic. The Acolyte will let nothing stop her from becoming more powerful. Summon skeleton. This makes so much sense. I like every ability here. I'll just be nodding to because yeah, these are the ones that I expected. Harvest, Bone Curse, Volatile Zombie, Spirit Plague, and Infernal Shade. Next up, the Necromancer. Flesh, bone, blood, and the lingering essence left in life's wake. These are her tools, her weapons. She is the master of a forsaken army. Her dark creations swarming her foes with the hunger of the dead. A hunger born from her power and fed at her command. Summon Wraith, summon Skeletal Mage, Sacrifice, Dreadshade, and Assemble Abomination. Even the names and the minions sort of sound similar, you know. Then we have the Lich. An Acolyte who has embraced the corruptive nature of her power and uses magic of blood and death at the expense of her own health, stealing life, consuming the essence of the dead and the damned for strength. This power will make her invincible. Yeah. Reaper form. Drain life. Aura of Decay, Soul Feast, and Death Seal. Cool. And then the final one is Warlock. This is a master of the forbidden arts. She tears into the essence of her foes, twisting and corrupting their spirits. Curses that dim the mind and break the body. The faintest word from her lips bear vile enough magic to snuff the life out of her enemies entirely. So it's kind of it's clear, you know, which subclasses have which types of abilities, and I actually like that there's such a clear and present distinction between all the different subclasses, and they all sort of cover a niche, you know? They all have their specialities, and it seems like it's kind of cool. I don't know what the process is of switching between the subclasses, if you can even do that. It might be the classic action RPG system where they actually want you to make a new class if you want to change. So I don't know that. If anyone does know that, you can leave a comment and let me know. And with that said, we are at the end of the video. I'd love to hear from you guys what you think. I like the idea of the classes. I'm going to be like perfectly honest with you. I'm not a big fan of the fact that they gender lock you. They lock you to a specific look and feel and style with each of the characters. I think that in certain games it does work, and maybe in this one it does. I have not played much of the game myself, so maybe it all makes sense when you actually play, but it's 2023. People want to customize their characters. People want their presence in the game to be their own. So that's the one downside I can see here. Otherwise, the characters themselves look pretty fantastic. The different abilities and stuff seem interesting. The subclasses, the masteries, they look amazing. It all looks fantastic. Yeah. It's just that one downside. But I'd love to hear from you guys what you think. Is it alright? Is it a deal breaker? Let me know. And if you've been playing the game, I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear if you've got a character, if you've leveled it up. I don't know what the like super late game characters would look like, but I'm sure they look pretty impressive. Maybe I'll check it out. Hey, you guys can check back here soon for more. You can once again read more below if you'd like to follow one of those links. Check the game out for yourself. But with that said, I'm done. Give this video a like and share it and do all that other good stuff. Most importantly, happy creating those characters. Happy that.